ARIENS ST824. If you own one of these, you probably already had this problem or you're about to have this problem. If you're watching this video, you're probably getting ready to fix it. So, we're going to be doing a how-to video. It's either going to be a two-part series or it's going to be one big gigantic uploaded video. Alright, so I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen my videos in the past on these ARIENS, and they all have the same problem. Either it's a drive problem or it's a gearbox problem. And this one's going to be on the gearbox. Basically, I had the Snowblower in just yesterday, and I made the video of it. We had a couple in. We had a Toro in here yesterday. We had a Honda in here yesterday. We had an MTD in here yesterday. We had this ARIENS in here yesterday, and the Murray was in here yesterday. So yesterday, my job was to fix the primer, get it going. Sure enough, fire it up, and you know, buddy there, he's a plow guy, and we had got hit pretty good with the storm the other day. There, we had the 2013 big storm there, and we got hit pretty hard. So he went out. He had a couple of the jobs to finish up yesterday. Yesterday was Tuesday. Today's Wednesday, and it's 7:23 p.m. Working late tonight because we got to get this one done because I'm getting ready to go on vacation. So he used it for a little bit, then let his buddy use it, and his friggin' buddy drove the augers right into the fucking to the curb, sidewalk curb, and he basically fucked up the gearbox beyond repair. I'm gonna basically show you how to swap out and change a whole interchangeable gearbox. Basically, you have the gearbox assembly, and if you can, wow, that's weird. There it is. If you can do that to your gearbox is fried. Basically how it works is you have your worm gear that comes in the back here from your impropeller. If I had my light here I could show you, but my light right now is missing. There we go, that's a little better. You have your impropeller, and on your impropeller shaft there's the worm gear that drives the shaft on here. On the inside of here there's a little brass guy. Basically, we're going to be doing with this one, we're just going to replace the whole gearbox unit. It's just a little faster and easier, and I ain't got time to rebuild it, but as you can see, damn near all the gears are stripped. I'll make a video of taking the gearbox apart to show you what happened. Surprisingly enough, though, that the augers are not seized on the shaft. See, I can wiggle this back and forth, and that one ain't moving. That means the augers are free from the shaft. I can do the same with this one. Wiggle back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If yours are not moving, let's say if they're stuck, you're wiggling, 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 basically your augers are seized on your shaft and you're going to have a bitch of a problem trying to get them off. You're going to use some acetylene torches to try and get them off. If not, just buy the entire whole gearbox rake assembly on eBay or something. Luckily, I was able to find one from a buddy of mine. We got the whole gearbox assembly without the augers, and obviously the housing here for, I think it's 135 bucks. I usually sell mine on eBay with the augers and the impropeller housing assembly for $150. Actually, it's $165 shipped, and I'll ship it for free on eBay. But unfortunately, I sold my last one this weekend when we had the storm, and I couldn't help them out. So basically, we're going to be taking this whole assembly off, and I'm going to show you guys basically how to do it. You've either watching this video, you just like watching the video, or you having the same problem as this guy here where you have a bad gearbox. You're going to learn how to replace the gearbox. A couple easy steps here, and who knows, you might have bought it even off of me off of eBay. I'm Keith.617 on eBay, and I'm freaking Peppercat Keith on YouTube, and I'm one crazy son of a bitch. So we're going to fix it up. So first step, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take off your belt cover. Once you take the belt cover off, it goes something like this. Boom. Next step, you're going to get your belt off, if you can get it off with one hand. Oop. I guess I can't do it with the camera, but you're going to get your belt off. Oop, I got it. I got it. Come on. Maybe pull it this way. Ah, son of a bitch. There it is. There we go. Belt is off. Next step, you're going to undo that bolt there, that bolt there, straighten your chute, you're going to remove your cotter pin. You can either remove it here or you can remove it back there. I just like to remove it right there. And once you do that, I'll show you what happens after once you do that. Okay, so once you remove the one cotter pin and the two 9/16 bolts, this is what you'll get. You'll get a split bucket, basically, is what you technically call it. Basically, this is all what I removed. Cotter pin for the chute lever mechanism piece, I guess we'll call it, the rod, and the two 9/16 bolts, and that's all what it was. This is all I used. Regular ratchet extension 9/16 socket. And what you want to do is, like I said, unscrew both sides, and you're going to hold that so it doesn't fall back when it falls. One thing you want to look at, check your belt, make sure it's in good shape. This one get a little bit of frayage, but it's good enough. So next what you're going to want to do, these are on little pins. If you look right in there, it's on that shaft basically. I'll show you how that works. We're going to pull this right up like this, nothing too fancy, and it's just going to roll forward just like that. Boom. That piece right there on both sides rests right onto there. Very simple. Now what you're going to do is move this guy right out of the way. Stick it right there. Not a big deal. Spilled a little gas. Next thing what you're going to want to do, take your belt off completely. You have a brake here. Open your brake up all the way like so. You got either the little push rod there and then the little brake there. Take your belt right off. Next up, get your belt over there. You're going to want to take this pulley off. These are 3 half-inch nuts. Take those off and I'll show you what you get next. Alright, so once you get those 3 half-inch bolt nuts off, basically what I did was I stuck a vice gripper on here just to hold the pulley from spinning on me. I can now take that off. Boom. Wiggle the pulley. Try not to damage the threads on those because you will be reusing those if you didn't already buy a new set. There's your pulley. Right there. Next up what you got, you can either A, take these out, which isn't really that big of a deal. I'm just going to leave mine in there for right now. This is going to be the hardest part of the whole assembly basically. You have this one, I guess we can call it pulley hub assembly. We'll just call it the, I don't even know what we'll call it. We'll just call it the son of a bitch for right now. You get this son of a bitch right here. You get 2 Allen keys in there. I don't remember the size offhand, but once I get the Allen son of a bitch, we'll take her off. But you get 2 there, and this is going to be the hardest part of the whole ordeal. You have to get this shaft off. You have 2 ways of doing it. You can either A, cut the son of a bitch off and press it off with a press, or this is if you cannot save it at all. You can take your oxyacetylene torch or die grinder or whatever you want and cut it off. In my case, I'm going to try and save it first. If not, then I'll be cutting the bottom of this off and I'll be pressing it off because I will not be buying a new son of a bitch here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. This is going to, like I said, going to be the hardest part. There are many different ways I can get it off. You can use hammers on it, which you really don't want to do that because then you'll burr out the shaft here. You can use a little bit of heat on it, penetrating fluid. You can try that, let it soak for a couple days, no guarantees. You can use, let's see, you got air hammer, which I probably will be using. One of these guys, something just like that, just go pop, 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 you know. So there's going to be a couple of ways to get it off. You just got to figure it out. You can also use a pulley puller on it if you can get it just right. I don't have one right now. Mine broke a while back. Just having the time to go out and grab one. But it sure would be nice to have. And oh, look at, there's a little model number for you if you guys are curious, you know, wanna search it up. But yeah, this is a 924 series auger bucket, by the way, too. But all the ARIENS are the same, pretty much. So I'm going to go ahead and get this off, and then I'll show you what the next step is. This is going to take me quite a few minutes, so if you want, we can time it. It's 7:36 right now, and we'll get back to you once it's off. Okay, so those are the 2 set screws that were in the hub assembly, or the son of a bitch as we've been calling it, and just want to show you guys something. This right here is the same identical son of a bitch that's on right here. And this is what I was indoors for last week. Last week, about the same time, I had another ARIENS guy in here, and I had to completely torch the son of a bitch off. And I guess I'm in for a treat today. Took 2 set screws off. There's no penetrating fluid on that at all. Look at that. I have never had one come off that easy in my entire life. That is just, whew, that's just too scary right there. I was in luck tonight, I guess. I don't know. That's really scary. And, oh yeah, there's the time. 7:40. Yeah, I think the longest part about it took me to get the damn set screwed off. But anyway, so I guess I was in for a treat today. I don't know. That was last week's friggin' treat. This is this week's. Hell friggin' yeah, I'll take that any day of the week. But anyway, so next up, we got a keyway in there. Keyway. We gotta get that off. And we're gonna take we got 3 nuts on right there. Those are 7/16, we're gonna take that off. And one thing I forgot to point out, if this is bad, like if this piece here is broken off, you're gonna want to replace that spring. Because that will stop your impropeller and augers from spinning once you let off the clutch. It's a good little safety to have. But anyway, we'll get the keyway off, we'll get those 3 7/16 bolts off, and we'll get back to you in a little bit. Alright, got the 3 bolts off. Keep on saying bolts, they're nuts. And the lock washer. 3 lock washers there. Or lock nuts, whatever the frig you want to call them. Not lock nuts, lock washers. Getting mixed up. Anyway, just want to point out some of the tools that we've already used. Vice grips for the guy right there. Allen wrench. I forgot to tell you the guys the size of it. I will let you know in 1 second. It is 9/64 is the size we used. And these are all the tools, basically what I've used so far. So, just going to keep that note there. But anyway, so we get this guy. We're going to take the bearing hub assembly piece off. No big deal there. We'll put that right there. And all what you're going to be left with is the 1 bearing right there. And there is also another plate in the back that has the 3 not carriage bolts, but just bolts coming out of the back, and you know, they got the little hex on the side of them just to keep them in place from falling out, but we'll get to that once we take it off. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come on the side here. We're going to take our 1/2 inch socket, take the 3 bolts off and nuts off on either side, and then we get the 1 big guy right there, and I'm going to show you guys a trick to getting that off. So, stay tuned. Alright. I was wrong. Those were 7/16. Fucking son of a bitch. Nuts. I keep on wanting to say bolts. They're nuts. Alright, I'm going to show you guys a trick now. Basically, for the big bolt on the side, you get a 3/4. You're going to put it on there. Now, if you get it just right to where your auger is locked up, where it's not going to move, if you have to, put a pair of vice grips on that shaft and lock it right up against there. Basically what you're going to do, you're going to take your wrench, as if you don't have an impact gun. I have an impact gun, I'm just going to show you how to do it this way. You're going to take your foot and just crank it. And it should be able to move, just like that. And if it doesn't come free, then break out the impact wrench. Or impact gun, not wrench. Okay, so we get that off. That's what you'll get, big washer, big old lock washer, and your bolt. I'll finish this side too. I already did this one. So now you got these guys. What you gonna do with these? Well, it's pretty easy. What you gonna do is take a hammer. If you think you're gonna be reaming on the thing for 100 hours, I'd put the bolts back on before you did. All you're gonna do is just and boom. All you gotta do is come back and pick them up. Pretty simple. You know, they'll be right underneath there. They ain't gonna go very far if you think you're gonna lose them. I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. It's that simple. But anyway, I'll do the same on the other side, and I'll show you guys the next step. Next step's really easy. Alright, there they all are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Didn't lose any of them. And next thing what you're gonna want to do when you go into found a flathead screwdriver. Nothing too spectacular, something thin. And if those things, one thing I forgot to mention, if those things spin on you, basically what you're going to want to do, see how these, see if I can't get you guys on a good surface here. If you look really closely here, you can kind of sort of see the splines on that. Those start to strip out. They're really rusty. They're a really bitch to get out. What you want to do is put your socket, impact, whatever you're using, on it, and you're going to try and pry your screwdriver on the back side, and hopefully it pops right off. But anyway, what you got in here, you got a black brass bushing, and you also have this guy right here. Now, if I can set the camera down for 30 seconds maybe, break my hammer over. You're going to take your son of a bitch just like that. If I can balance you guys on my knee, it'd be pretty spectacular. And you're going to take the hammer, whack it on top of the screwdriver. See how easy that is? Boom. Lifted it right up. Crack, crack, boom. There's a hub assembly. You're going to do the same on the other side. Well, I'll see it again, because I know you do. It's fancy and such. Such the high-tech way. Pull out that brass bushing again. Sometimes these will just pop right off. Balance you guys on my knee. Maybe give you guys a little bit of distance this time so you guys can see. Got the screwdriver on it. Hammer. Boom, just like that. Just enough to crack it. Yep, gotta do one more. Oh, wow, this one's in there pretty good. Boom, there it is. There you go. There's your hub. So there you go. You got two of them. Two things that you might want to replace. We're not going to be replacing them. One is the bearing. You might want to replace that. And two are these little brass pieces. They like to wear out quite a bit. It's just brass. Nothing too spectacular there. So, once you get that all done, you can now flip the auger bucket back over. And basically, this is the most easiest part of it all. Other than taking out the two first nuts. But you get it down on my stump. And I show you what you do next. Take two hands, and you just gotta pull real fast. One. Oh yeah, you gotta lift up just a little bit so you don't catch your skid plate. One, you grab it just like this, and pull real fast. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And if you were lucky, you got it out, but unfortunately I didn't get lucky. Son of a bitch! Alright, let's figure another way here. Oh, that's in there. Yep. Let's break out this guy. Good old Harbor Freight hammer. Why the hell am I using a regular rubber mallet when all I gotta do is use a regular hammer? If you're gonna be saving that shaft, you should be using that. But I ain't saving that shaft. Ah, I see what's going on here. Alright, get a little bit of penetrating fluid on that shaft. Nothing too spectacular, like a wrench. Just lubricate it up. Let's see what's going on. Bearing's stuck on the son of a bitch. There it is. Oh. Got her kinked. Son of a bitch. Come on. And there it be. Move that out of the way. That out of the way. And there it be. Simply as bang, bang, bang. Alright. So, here's the assembly. As you can see, there's our bearing plate hub. Obviously I gotta get the bearing off, not a big deal. I'm just gonna take the sawzall to the back of it and hack her off, and I'll just put her on the press over there and it'll pop right off. No big deal there. Just save it. If you're gonna replace it, it's not a big deal. Leave it on there. But you will, if this is rusted out, a lot of times this piece here will be rusted out, the flange. Get you guys in the light here. A lot of times this is rusted up and you're going to want to replace it. Go right ahead, replace it along with the bearing. But in my case, we're on a very, very, very little budget here, and we're going to get her done. So, bearing's still good. That's pretty sweet. But yeah, so, and oh yeah, those the screws I was telling you guys about. If you want to make it easier on yourself, weld the back bolts on and you'll save yourself a shitload of aggravation, basically. Because I'll show you. There's a screw that I knocked in. There's basically nothing even holding it on. It's just nothing. So if you get a chance, if you get a welder, weld it on. If not, then I feel really bad for you. It's just gonna suck. You could sometimes get it to stay on, sometimes you can't. Sometimes if you stick an object down the chute to hold the flange in, to hold everything in, it just might work, but I just usually weld it. I have a Lincoln welder, weld them up, no big deal. But yeah, so that's basically how you take it off. Same deal goes with your augers. You're going to take your 1/2 inch wrench and a 1/2 inch socket, take off your augers, nothing big there, and you get two, let's see, we get 2 of those roll pins on either side. I'm just going to cut mine off with the cutting wheel, and I'll be able to reuse my augers. Some people can't. When they're seized on the shaft, it sometimes isn't worth taking them off. It's cheaper probably just to go out and buy them, but if you have an oxyacetylene tank laying around, go ahead, use it. Burn the fuckers off. I don't give a shit. It ain't my machine. But since we got the bucket off, I'll show you guys a couple of other things real quick that you're going to want to look for. It's mainly this. You're going to want to check the bottom of the bucket. If you have any holes in it, you might want to either A, replace the bucket, or B, go ahead and weld up a patch. I'm pretty good on this one, so we don't have to worry about that. So I think we're pretty good. Now, yeah, if you want to use your skid shoes, replace those as well. And your scraper bar, not a big deal, but like I said, very low budget job. I'm only getting paid just to put that son of a bitch in. Not any extras. So, anyway, this will finish up this part of the video. If you want, we can go get a drink of water, get a beer, and we'll get back to you once we get the new auger in. Because I ain't got it yet. We're still waiting on it. So, anyway, this is, I guess, part 1. I might just throw it all together in one video. Probably be easier for you guys to watch. But if you want, take a break. I'm done. I'm going to clean up the shop here. And we'll talk to you guys probably tomorrow night, which will be Friday night. And we'll take it from there. So far, that's all the tools we've used. Not a whole lot. Just a bunch of hairy homeowner Harbor Freight tools. Nothing too spectacular there. Oh yeah, what a day. Alright, so I had a little bit of time here. Still same day, Friday. I mean, not Friday, it's still Wednesday. I took apart it. I just want to show you guys, this is what I was telling you guys about the spline. Basically, this spline is actually still rebuildable. I'm actually going to try and get the brass gear out in a second. I'm going to show you guys that. Splines are still good. Usually if they're heavily worn, like really thin, they're junk. But surprisingly, this one is still good. And here's a look at the brass gear. Basically that's all it is, just brass. As you can see, it's just stripped right the fuck out. So, I'm going to try and get the brass piece off. As you can see, I split the case. If I can get it off, I don't know. It might be worth it for the guy to put a new brass gear in, but then again, for 130 bucks for the whole setup, you know, it might be just easier to do it that way. But I don't know. It just depends on how easy that pin is. And oh yeah, I used the vice grips to get those roll pins out. Put the vice grip on, then tap 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 on the vice grip, and the roll pin fell right out. That was the piece that went right into at the end of the auger there. But I'll see what I can do here. Alright, and there's that brass little gear I was telling you guys about. as you can see, the bolt is stripped right out. Not a single gear left. Well, actually, I take that back. There's 2. Damn. Gone. That shouldn't look like that, I'll tell you that much. Junk. Now you can replace this piece. It's pretty simple. I'm just thinking though it's not worth the aggravation for me because I'm getting ready to leave and I really just don't want to fuck around with it. So I'm just going to
we are back to this
replace the whole unit if I had the time.
It's Friday. Sure. I know I said I was going to do this Thursday, but I didn't get the parts
on
on Thursday, so now we're here on Friday. So, here's what I've come across so far. Anyway, let's continue with
Get the input shaft here, in propeller. We're not going to be reusing this anymore. I ended up hacking off the back of it so I get the bearing size off of it. So I can run down to Eastern Bearings and pick that up. I never did it yesterday because there were 90 million things going on yesterday. Holy, I need a vacation. Thank God it's about a couple of days. But anyway, so here's where we're at with this whole thing. Auger gearbox is in. I'm going to be taking off these augers, putting those augers on. Those augers look a little better than these ones. This one over here is a little bit tweaked, and this one here looks like it was heated at one time. So we're going to go ahead, swap them out. Not a big deal there. Got to take the roll pins off, file down this rust part here, and we'll be all set. Got to cut this old bearing off here. As you can see, again, the whole seal's gone in the back. That's going to get chopped off. And I got to get this flange off, so it should be a good little workout there, trying to get those pieces off. But, yeah, hey, that's what we got going on this morning. And, should be a pretty hectic day, I can tell you that. But, anyway, let's get on with this series. I'm going to start by just taking off the auger rakes, taking off the bearing, taking off the flange, and we'll just get to it once we're done there. Alright, so I've got everything all swapped over. Got the new auger rakes on. Old ones are sitting right over there now, but I got these all swapped on. Pulled out the old pins, put the new pins in. These are pretty simple to do. I should have showed you guys how to do them, but all I do is take a hammer, bang down till they're flush with the steel, then take a regular screwdriver on these guys, put it dead on the unit like so, take the hammer, bang down on it, and then when you get a smaller screwdriver that'll actually fit in the hole right, and take this one, bang down, the pin will just pop off. You have to use the vice grips and then bang right down the vice grips too. Just 2 little tips there for you. But anyway, so this is all done. Well, not fully done yet. We still gotta fucking put it in the fucking bucket. It's gonna be here all day. But I get the bearing. This is new bearing, $16. If you go to an ARIENS dealer, 35 bucks. Sucks to be you. But definitely, we weren't originally going to replace it, but we said, yeah, might as well. This is just a bearing I actually had laying around. I had to cut both the bearings off. This is actually the one that was on it. That's what's left of it. And, well, that was the one on the old shaft. And the one on the new shaft here, well, these are the pieces right here. Just took my small little son of a bitch there and went, you know, and worked pretty good. So, next up, I'm getting ready to figure out my next plan. I'm going to take that bolt out of there. Actually, that one's fucking stripped. I just noticed that. Okay, won't be using that. Just going to somehow make this one so it stays up and in there. It's obviously not the original one. Somebody obviously replaced it one time before. But I got to make it stay. These have special splines in them. That's why those are staying in there. But this one's, you know, just a regular screw. So if I had my welder here, I'd weld it right onto it. But unfortunately my welder isn't sitting in my snowmobile trailer at the moment, already packed away. So it's going to be a bitch to do, but I should be able to get her done, hopefully. But we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I'll get her going once I get the auger housing back installed into here, and then we'll show you the rest. Alright, auger slash gearbox is in. Kind of so. We got to bolt everything together. But here's what my plan is so far. I'm going to be aligning myself right now before I put the back bearing on. I just kind of stuck that flange plate on the back there. On the inner piece, so you can see I have the inner flange on. And I just took 2 nuts, and I just sucked it on there. And right now I got this side aligned. And I'm doing this side right now. Getting ready to put the brass bushing in. and we should be pretty much good to go there. I tried looking for the most weird spot on it, but I couldn't find one, so it should work fine. But this is what I'm doing. I'm just aligning the front first. I'm going to put the bolts in the front first, and then once I'm done the front, I'm going to do the rear, and I should be able to slide everything on, and we'll be good to go. So looking pretty good on it. So I'm just going to stick this brass guy in there, tighten everything up in the front, and then we'll work our way to the back. Should work out pretty good, front to back. Alright, so it's pretty simple. I mean, it's basically all just reverse of what you did. You just got to tighten everything back up again. So what I did was, I got the guy in. Basically, I figured out if you just tip the bucket up on its side that way, like if you tip it this way, it's a shitload easier to align, and you can just slide your brass bushings on, then your plate on, and then you can just tighten everything up that way. It's a lot easier than the way I was just doing it. So don't follow what I just did. But anyway, so the front's in. Now it's time for the rear. Now, because I'm dealing with this stupid ass shorty, right now everything is aligned. I got kind of lucky. Sometimes if you push these screws right through, it'll just fall right into the inside. So I got lucky on that one. I got extremely lucky, I guess we could say. So I can actually tip it up now, which is good. Let me tip it up, make my life a little easier. See how that one isn't falling? Perfect. So next step is I gotta get the bearing greased up here, and we're gonna put the bearing on the inside just like so. Then once that's on, we put our flange back on, and then we can put the pulley and son of a bitch together. Oh yeah, I remember to use that word. We're doing pretty good on time. I started this around, I think it was about 9 o'clock this morning, 9:30 this morning. It's only 10:43 right now, so we're doing pretty good this morning. Not bad, not bad. And I even had a little bit of spare time to change out a friggin' hydraulic hose on a Fisher Mountain plow. Friggin', if you want to know the friggin' type, there you go. Oh, can't even see it. It's too faded, but this blew out right on the side there. Go figure. Junk. Scrap metal now. But anyway, we'll continue on what we're doing. We're looking pretty good this morning. Didn't think I was going to get it done this week, but sure as hell did. And I'm actually right on time still, because I got another job I got to do. I got the Honda sitting outside, and then once that's done, I got a friggin' sheetrock job I got to go to. Son of a bitch. Alright, just want to show you guys a quick little tip here. If you want to make sure your bearing gets on, put it all nice and nice, take a little bit of gear oil. Nothing too spectacular. This is just a 180, 8540. Doesn't have to be anything special. Take your bearing, place it on the top, whack it with a hammer that is roughly the same size of your bearing. And you don't want to break your seal here. On this side, you want to just take a thing. Once you get it on there, you can just pop, 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 and then should be pretty good. So I'm gonna finish up here. Once I get this all together, I can do my little assembly here, and we'll be good to go. Oh yeah. Alright, I got the bearing in place, as you can see. Went on nice and nice. Now we're gonna take the flange. I am so glad that I didn't lose that one screw in there when I was whacking away at her on the sides there, but we got lucky. I think I'll do that one first, just to make sure I don't freaking lose on the last step. Oh wait, I'm forgetting something. We got lock washers to put in there, lock nuts. So I put those in there. Then you take your screws or your nuts or whatever fuck you want to call them, and then just tighten away until they don't want to snap off. Don't snap them. That's for damn sure. Just tighten off. I don't have torque specifications. We don't know that here. We're not that good here. But yeah. So that's what I got going on. Alright, got my flange on. Next up what I'm doing is I just got done setting the keyway. As you can see right there, we're looking pretty damn good. Yeah, she's on. So we're looking pretty good there. Once you slide your hub, or I should say son of a bitch there, we'll slide the hub on. You can then take a little bit of before you do it, put a little bit of never seize on. If you ever have to get that off again, you won't have any problems. So we'll stick that on there, not a big deal. And basically, I already have a ballpark idea of how I'm going to align it. If you want, you can align it while it's on the machine, on your belts. I really don't need to. I already have a ballpark idea. It's going to sit roughly about like less than a 1/16 above the shaft. So yeah, it's not a big deal. If you don't align it right, basically what will happen is you'll just shred your belt up. And honestly, if you're off, it's not going to shred it the way you're thinking of. It's going to shred it. Maybe you'll get maybe 2 to 3 winters out of the belt a year, as opposed to you'd probably get 5 out. So it's not that big of a deal if you don't align it right, but you want to do your best of getting it straight. So I'm going to go ahead and put the son of a bitch on. We'll set the set screws in, then we'll put the pulley on, and then we can start bolting everything back together up into the auger bucket. And oh yeah, I had to take the chute off just to get at the one little bolt there, so I can, I had to slide a screwdriver in the back there just to brace that top screw there, so I could just, give it a little back support, so it wasn't keep spinning. But we're looking pretty good. Alright, I got the pulley on. Now this is the perfect time to check, make sure everything's perfect. Obviously, I'm going to have a little bit of binding because my brake is right there. You can take a pair of vice grips, crimp it up. Not that big of a deal, but I can do it just like here. If you feel any binding, then you got some problems. You got to figure it out. Could be the brass bushings, could be the main bearing. It just depends on what you did wrong. So yeah. But anyway, this one seems pretty good. I already tested without the brake on. So we're looking pretty good there. Now it's time to reignite it to the drive. I thought I saw a chip gear there for a second, but it wasn't. But what you want to do is, before you go crazy of putting everything on, don't kill yourself with the belt. Put the belt on first. Then, once you get up in here, you're most likely going to hit which one? You're most likely going to hit this right here. And it's a pain in the balls if you hit it. It's not that big of a deal, but sometimes it is. If you get it just right to where you can align everything perfect, to where your brake is perfect, and this is perfect, you won't have any problems aligning it, but this is just your main problem of aligning everything. Just trying to get the bucket on and in. So once I get this on, I'll show you how to set it up so where it'll make it simple. Alright, so here's the part where I was telling you guys about those pins earlier on. So you want to have your auger bucket resting on that one sleeve that comes across, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift the auger onto the drive. I'm going to set you guys up on this box here, just so you guys can get a ballpark idea. It's going to take a little bit, but it gives you the idea of what to do. You're going to want to hold the belt so we don't lose it. And you don't have any frustrations and you're swearing at the thing later. Oh, Peppercat Keith didn't tell me to hold the fucking belt, you son of a bitch. Tip it up like that. Ah, shit, I forgot the bolts. And remember to get your bolts. I need that. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. I mean, it's basically that easy, where you can just bing bing and boom, done. See how it is basically, you just align it and you get that one guy right there. Obviously I can't do it with son of a bitch, but you gotta get just that way the hole is aligned up in the bottom and you're all set. But that's basically all there is to it. So I'm gonna button this thing up, get the chute back on, get the belt on, get the belt cover back on, get this one bolt on, and we'll take it out for a rip. Alright, well, she's all put back together now to the last of the odds and ends. One thing I thought I'd tell you guys about is when you do all this, your best bet is to adjust your skid shoes, and that's pretty simple. Just undo both bolts on either side of your skid shoe. I like to take a screwdriver, stick her underneath your main scraper bar. It's just the right thickness. I like to leave them up a little bit, and you get the right height that you want to set it to, and you'll be all set. But make sure you do it on a flat surface, like a concrete surface. But I'm getting ready to go take this thing for a rip, make sure we don't have any problems, and if we do, we'll pull her right back in and fix her up. So Alright, snowblower ran mint. Didn't bog down really. Just when you hit the big load, but my job is done. Gearbox works. All left for me to do is just grease the grease fittings, and I'm done. That's it. Hopefully this helped out anyone that had this problem. It's a pretty common problem with the snowblowers, so hey, if you like the video, subscribe. If not, go fuck off. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later on. Hopefully you guys have a good day and you don't break an auger or a gearbox or your front flip of your minivan either.